Good Shabbos. How is everyone this evening? And we are thrilled that everyone is with us. If you're joining us on Zoom or Facebook, we recommend you go to our YouTube channel, and we find when we broadcast through the Mevo camera, you get a better, clearer sound to the evening. Although we love having you on Zoom, and I hope you'll chat with each other on Zoom and create community in that way. And we are, of course, delighted to be here celebrating with the Bizak Cohen family as Aiden begins his Bar Mitzvah weekend. Yay! Very exciting. And we are also thrilled that Susan and Sandy Berlin are joining us on the Bima tonight, which has become, I guess, a biannual tradition. You don't have to run every year, but before Election Day, Susan joins us so she can get extra blessings. And this Tuesday, of course, is Election Day, and she is running for Suffolk County Legislature. So we are very, very pleased to have them here and to have you back in the sanctuary with us. I think my microphone could be a little louder. And Dr. Brian Goldstein, our temple president, it's always wonderful to have you on the BMO with us. There's so much good stuff going on. A sheet tonight. We did? Okay. So let us begin this Shabbat and Weissman's with some song and prayer and focusing and settling down. I know I was running around a little bit crazy today, so I am glad to be here with you. I actually did something delightful this morning. It was a Duke women's group, and we met at the Nassau County Museum of Art. And there's a sculpture garden, but what we did is we walked around the circumference loop, which is a mile, so we did it a couple times. And at night, there's an exhibit called A Bug's Night, and it's all these lit up things, and you can drive in it, which I think would be lovely. But walking through it while it wasn't lit up and it was broad daylight was delightful. So I recommend this, and it was fun and just nice to see some old friends. So let us begin with Hine Matov, how good it is to be together. Hine Matov, how good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together. That's exactly what I needed to get Shabbat started. So thank you, Cantor. And I invite everyone to turn to page 120 in Mishkan Tefillah, the prayer book with the flame on it. If there are two sets of numbers, use the set of brackets. As I invite Aiden and his mom Jody to honor us by lighting the Shabbat candles. I'm going to turn the cameras and then unturn them. Come on. My prayer, I sing to you. Praise you to the ones I love. And bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all those who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoto, v'tzivanu l'chad l'ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoto, v'tzivanu l'chad l'ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Shine and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Page 126. On Monday night, I begin teaching a class on positive Judaism at the High Adult Institute, which you're all welcome to join. It's all online. And this prayer brings up some of those themes. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. We turn to page 138, Lecha David. Lecha David, Lecha Kala, Lecha Kala, ושלום, עצרת מלון, חג ושמחה ושלום, וממוננו סגולה, בריקלה, בריקלה. We turn to page 146 with that Shabbat bride having entered our souls as we can remain standing for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. We turn to page 148. Rolling into dark, rolling into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Rolling into dark, rolling into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Forever the night, forever. Day turns to night, rolling into dark, rolling into night, night becomes day, day turns to night. We turn to page 150 as we're reminded of God's love of us through giving us the Torah. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot u'kim u'mishpatim otanu lemadta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu shoreinu lekomeinu nasiach b'chumecha Nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed.
I got this. I was trying to get Laura and Colin. I couldn't get her. I was trying to get some of them. Lauren and Alex, I couldn't get them. I see Brian sitting over there.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. Page 154, let's continue together. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'kol levavcha v'kol nafshecha v'kol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi tzivka hayom al levavecha v'shinanta levanecha v'dibarta ba v'shivtecha b'beitecha v'shivletzecha b'derech U'shavtecha u'v'necha, u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot be'einecha, Utaptam al mezuzot beitecha isharecha. Nama'an tizkaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai. V'hiztem kedoshim le'lohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hoseti etchem be'eretz Mitzrayim. Lehiot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Let's continue together on the facing page 155. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands and keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. Page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Micha Mocha 158. Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Ba'eli Adonai. Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Nedar HaKodesh, Nora Tilo, Osefele, Nora Tilo, Osefele. Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Ba'eli Adonai. Malchutecha Romanecha, Bokei Lifnei Moshe, Zelianu Yameru, Adonai Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Ba'eli Adonai. Page 160 and 161. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros alenu sukat shlomecha, v'tagnenu be'etza tova milfanecha, v'hoshienu l'ma'an shemecha. Together, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Shalom. We continue celebrating Shabbat, 162, Vishamru. Vishamru, b'nei Yisrael, HaShabbat. La'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam beritonam. Be'ni u'bein b'nei Yisrael, Israel et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We rise for the Amidah, our central prayer, page 100. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Ha'Adonai, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Yekonei Ha'ol, Zomer Chaser Elohim Avot, U'Migdal Negehem, L'ma'an Shemo Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Roshia U'Magid, Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'Amanai, V'chayei Hakol Atah V'Moshia, Mekakel Chaim V'Chesed, Mikayei Hakol V'Rachamim Rabim, Tzomek Elohim V'Rofei Olim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayei Emunaso, B'Shem Me'avar, Mi Chamocha Ba'al Yisroel, U'Midomeva, Melech Me'id, U'Mechayeh, U'Matzliach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman HaChayot HaChol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei HaChol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'toshim v'chol yom yehallelujah selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. We continue on page 173. Disturb us, Adonai. Welcome us, ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied. Dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans together. Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction in a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and that the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and healing. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh Shabbat. We continue on the next page, 175. You guys should really tune in tomorrow to the 8th service because job of singing this for me. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu Le'am Yisrael. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu Le'am Tefilatan, be'ahava tekaber. Tefilatan, be'ahava tekaber. Receive Adonai Eloheinu. We turn to page 177, and we take a moment and think of what we are grateful for, what we say Modim Anachnu Lach for on this day. If you're on Zoom, I encourage you to put it in the chat. Or watching us on Facebook, you might want to put it in the comments. And if you're here, just take a moment and think about what you are grateful for at this moment, on this Shabbat, at this time. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Let's pray for peace. 1:7.8. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom, 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 Israel, Take these next few moments of silent prayer. Oh, sweet Spirit, hear my prayer. Now these words heal someone out there. I am but a voice, just a cry in the air. But I sing nonetheless in this pain we share. Oh, sweet friends, come and dry your eyes and hold each other by this tree of life. I'm weary and tired of this great divide, but I sing nonetheless with love on our side. Oh, sweet souls who feel broken now, we're here together, somewhere, somehow. Time and again we have been let down, but we sing nonetheless, still whole and still proud. Oh, sweet Spirit, hear my prayer. Help these words heal someone out there. What a gorgeous piece.
some of you know who Nefesh Mountain is. They actually did a concert for us over the summer last year on Zoom. And we all know, I think, that this week is the anniversary of the incident in Pittsburgh. And they had actually written this song in memory of the people that were lost in that tragic event. And the song is called Tree of Life.
So we have a treat. We will have a Torah service this evening. So I invite all of you to rise as the Torah is taken from the ark.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Gadol Shemo.
Undress the Torah. Please be seated. We are reading one of my favorite Torah portions this evening, Chai Sarah. And it's just my favorite Torah portion because my Hebrew name is Chai Sarah. So that's really, no, but it opens with such a beautiful line. And the life of Sarah was 100 years and 20 years and 7 years. Reminding us that at each stage of life, we find different levels of wisdom. We have different peaks and moments in our life. To be as wise as Sarah was as 100, as beautiful as she was at 20, and as innocent as she was at 7. So while this whole portion is about the fact that it's finding a burial place for Sarah, it starts out, this is the life of Sarah. And I just think that's quite beautiful. It is our honor this evening to have Susan and Sandy Berland joining us on the Bima for the Torah Blessings, as I said, on this eve of Election Day. And ask your Hebrew names? So Ya'amdu, Shane O'Connor, Shmuel Nehemiah Livrek, and Chatzorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bocher banu mikol ha'olam, v'notan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayihyu chaye Sarah me'ah shana v'esrim shana v'sheva shanim shnei chaye Sarah v'tamot Sarah v'kiryat Arba v'chevron be'eretz Canaan v'yavo Abraham lizbot v'Sarah v'livkota v'yakom Abraham Me'ah b'nei meito, v'ydaber b'nei chet le'mor. Ger b'toshav anochi imachem, tenu li achuzat kever imachem. Ve'ekbara meiti milfanai.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah tevet, v'hayei olam natan b'tzodeinu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And we ask this blessing on you, from God. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of our mothers and fathers. May God grant you strength to weather this election, strength to govern and guide and steer us in the right directions, strength to stand up against haters, strength to see a vision of a better world for us all to live in. And may God help bless us and you as we move forward together. And let us say, Amen. And her sidekick, we bless him too. Don't forget that. Please rise.
Izot HaTorah asher sam Moshe b'nei Yisrael Yadonai v'yad Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Torah. Lanu Moshe, Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe, Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe, Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. It's Chaim li, the Mamazikim, the Torah Leha, Leusha, the Racheha, Darkei Ron, the Chornativotea, Shalom, Ashiveinu Adonai, Eilecha B'nashuvah, Hadish, Hadish, nothing more.
Please be seated. When I set out to write this sermon, I had not yet connected that this weekend was the 3rd anniversary since the terrible shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, considered to be the deadliest attack of Jews in America. But tonight, as we do remember the 11 victims of that attack, it is fitting to talk about anti-Semitism. Not something I enjoy talking about, not something uplifting for a Shabbat evening, but something that unfortunately is growing, is scaring us, is something that we need to be aware of and something we need to do something about. So we have an opportunity to reflect on where we are now, to think about what has changed in the last 3-4 years, and to think about what we can do. This week, a trial began to convict the neo-Nazis who descended on Charlottesville in August of 2017, 4 years ago. The white supremacists gathered ostensibly to protest the taking down of Confederate statues. But they marched holding tiki torches, reminiscent of the KKK, and drove a car into a crowd of people, killing Heather Heyer. They terrorized the Jews who were praying that Shabbat morning in the local synagogue along the route. I heard it was truly terrifying. Integrity First for America is helping the victims of that day bring a lawsuit against the organizers of the rally. They are using the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871, which provides a civil remedy to individuals who are victim of private acts motivated discrimination and racial when another group or another person causes harm in this way. And there aren't that many legal means of regress. Amy Spitalnik is the executive director of Integrity First for America. She says, it is stunning that almost 150 years later, we are still fighting the same kinds of conspiracies. Sadly, the KKK statute's relevance to what happened in Charlottesville is all too clear. As the lawsuit describes in great detail, defendants, and this is what they're bringing charges against, plotted, coordinated, and executed a common plan to engage in violent intimidation in the streets of Charlottesville, in furtherance of a conspiracy to violate the rights of plaintiffs and other Black and Jewish people and their supporters. Specifically, in the months leading up to the rally, the Charlottesville organizers utilized Discord, a social media platform used by video gamers, other online platforms, and in-person meetings to recruit others to the cause and methodically plan how violence would unfold. And on their websites and on their social media, you'll find things that say things like blood and soil, which is a reference to a Nazi slogan from Germany. And next stop, Charlottesville. Stop, Auschwitz. I was privileged to hear Amy Spitalnik, the executive director, speak a few years ago. And one of Integrity First for America's strategies is to bring these lawsuits in order to bring justice to bear, but also to financially destroy the neo-Nazi groups so that they can't continue to spread their vitriol. So they're using the courts, they're using the civil suits that they can bring, the criminal suits they can bring, and just general strategies to disempower the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists. But what about right here in Suffolk County? Last week at a Meet the Candidates night in South Huntington, Susan Berlin was a victim of anti-Semitism. Not from random people in the crowd, although that has happened in the past too, but from the other candidate for Suffolk County Legislature, for the Suffolk County Legislature, Manny Esteban. In his remarks, and I do have a transcript, but I took this from Newsday, I am a Christian, and there is a parable in the Bible, right, where Jesus goes to the temple, he knocks it down and throws out all the money changers. And when Jesus did that, he was pissed. And I'm pissed, because that's what's happening with these money changers that have gotten in here. My opponent is an emperor with no clothes. Then he said of Susan Berlin, she should stop being so greedy. This wasn't disguised. There was no point to him telling this story. It has nothing to do with his platforms. It has nothing to do with his candidacy. This is an anti-Semitic trope used to falsely show that Jews during the time of the Second Temple were money hungry. A claim amplified by anti-Semites over the centuries, and today by far-right groups and neo-Nazis who make these false assertions that Jews control the world of finance. In truth, Jews would come to the Second Temple on Passover, on Shavuot, on Sukkot, and they were asked to give a half shekel donation, a tax or a way of making their offering. And they trade their goods for the half shekel. They'd use the half shekel to buy their sacrifice. And it was all ritualized and part of Jewish observance, Israelite observance at the time. There was nothing sinister about it. It was the appropriate way to make a sacrifice. The only time I've heard this story used from the Old Testament is to perpetuate anti-Semitism. To invoke that story, which has no bearing on campaign issues or on his qualifications as a candidate, and that doesn't even make sense in this context, can really only have one purpose: to rile up a deep-seated hatred of Jews and awaken a subliminal distrust and anti-Jewish sentiment. Right here in Suffolk County. Right here in Suffolk County, there was a vigil last night in Northport. It was a response to 3 recent incidents of bias and anti-Semitism. On Rosh Hashanah, Rabbi Ian Silverman, my colleague, our friend who's up at East Northport Jewish Center, took a group of teens to do the ritual of Tashlit, where we take the breadcrumbs and cast our sins into the water. While they were there, on one of the holiest days of the year for the Jewish people, they were yelled at with anti-Semitic slurs in their own town. Another incident was that swastikas were carved into the walls at East Northport High School. And a third, an actor in Smokey Joe's Cafe playing at the Engelman Theater, was yelled at and called horrible names because he is Black. Now, obviously, this last incident isn't anti-Semitism, but it is baseless hatred. And we know as Jews that hatred, all hatred, needs to be stood up against. And we need to stand up for others. For I remember standing on this bema 3 years ago after what happened in Pittsburgh and gaining so much strength from the fact that our Mormon friends, our Muslim friends, our Christian friends called me and said, can we join you at your Friday night service? We want to be here with you. If you would like us to say a few words, we'd be glad to, but just let us be here with you. And that same week, we had a rally over at Dixon's Jewish Center, and we're joined by people of multiple faiths saying, we're here, we won't tolerate this. So when we hear incidents like that, we need to stand up too, whether they're directed against the Jewish people or against other people. We also can't say, oh, well, that was Northport, not Dix Hills, not Melvin. And that is what human nature tells us to do. We want to protect ourselves. We don't want to feel scared. We don't want to feel pain. We don't want to be afraid. We want to say, oh, that's 5 miles down the road. That's in Pittsburgh. That's in Poway. That's in New Jersey. That won't happen here. But that's naive of us. We have to remember to be on alert all the time. We need to open our eyes and see that when does hatred spread? When good people stand by and do nothing. As Elie Wiesel teaches, the opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. And it is closing our eyes to the world around us. So what are some of the things that we can do? Stay vigilant. We have to find the balance between not being afraid and not burying our heads in the sand. How can we stay hopeful and not be too naive? Where's the line between paranoia and being oblivious? How do we find that balance? And we need to live productive lives that allow us to thrive. We can't be scared all the time, but we can't close our eyes. We have to use that same principle when we vote. We must vote with our eyes open. We must vote this Tuesday or in early voting this weekend. Vet our candidates. Make sure they don't hold anti-Semitic views. Sometimes it's obvious, as in the story I shared tonight. But other times we have to dig a little deeper. Look at the candidates' records. Not just what they say, but what they don't say. The times that they don't stand up, that they don't defend those who need defending. I also encourage you to read. I just finished Dara Horn's book, People Love Dead Jews. And I have the privilege of being on a panel interviewing her on November 8th at 10 o'clock in the morning. And the link will be on our website. You have to register, but I'd love for you to join me. She has an interesting take that the world is fine with Jews, but just the ones of history, dead Jews. that this obsession with dead Jews leads to a distortion of us living, breathing Jews and leads to anti-Semitism or feeds into it. Very readable book. Or read Barry Weiss's book, How to Fight Anti-Semitism, a powerful wake-up call against complacency that examines many forms of anti-Semitism, including the anti-Semitism coming from the American right and the American left. Or Deborah Lipstadt, who's nominated to be the envoy to combat anti-Semitism from the United States government. Her book here, Anti-Semitism Here and Now. Similar themes to Barry Weiss, but different stories. She writes to a colleague, an imaginary colleague at Emory and an imaginary student at Emory, a composite of experiences she's had. So there's a focus on campus life, on Holocaust denial, and on the reemergence of neo-Nazis in America. Send a letter to Congress, making sure that they wake up and help combat anti-Semitism right now. The American Jewish Committee has a letter you can send based on their report that came out this week. The report's called A State of Anti-Semitism in America Report 2021. It literally just was published. And it has 4 major takeaways, all of which are embedded in this letter. American Jews are deeply concerned. 90% of us see a rise in anti-Semitism in the last 5 years and are afraid. 2, there is a disconnect on anti-Semitic attacks in America. The general public is not aware of anti-Semitism the same way the Jewish community is. 1 in 4 Jews are said to have been connected to anti-Semitism in some way in the last 5 years. I was shocked to hear that number. But only 48% of general Americans said they had heard a lot or some about Jews being attacked when the rise of attacks happened in May 2021, when the Israel-Hamas conflict was raging. But 71% of American Jews said the attacks in Israel made them feel less safe here in America. So there's a disconnect. Another point that was brought out was that fear of anti-Semitism impacts Jewish life. People have changed their behavior in the past 12 months. Jews no longer wear outward symbols, some Jews no longer wear outward symbols of their Judaism or don't identify themselves publicly as they might have in the past. That's a huge change, I think, in the last 5-10 years. But this is more promising, that over 80% of Americans, Jews and the general public agree that anti-Zionism is a form of anti-Semitism. To me, this was particularly important because social activists on the left are drawing a false dichotomy and saying, we're not against Jews, we're just against Israel, or against the perception of an apartheid state in Israel, which I don't agree with. Again, this trying to split hairs between Israel and Jews is an anti-Semitic trope that rears its head in new ugly forms throughout the centuries. The fact that 80% of Americans can see through this guise is heartening. So those ideas are embedded in this American Jewish Committee letter that you can go online and sign. But it also urges senators to join the 56 senators who are already members on the bipartisan task force to combat anti-Semitism. Senator Gillibrand is on that list. Senator Schubert is not, and I know I wrote to him a while ago about that, and I don't remember what the response was, so I'm going to write again after Shabbat and urge him to be on that committee because it certainly aligns with many of the things he's taught us and said. I didn't want to give this sermon tonight. This Shabbat, we're celebrating Aiden becoming a Bar Mitzvah and taking his place in the Jewish community. I would have loved to just give a sermon about how proud he should be, because he should be, and how proud we all are of him, because we are. That would have been a great sermon to give tonight. So Aiden, as you become a Bar Mitzvah, we are reminded that being Jewish is something to be proud of and to fight for. But we are also reminded that it isn't easy and that we must be doing something right, or so many people wouldn't be trying to stop us. One thing I know is we are lucky that people like you and your sister and your cousin are standing up and proudly telling the world that you are Jewish. That gives me hope for today and for tomorrow. Thank you. We rise as we turn to page 586 for the LA.
Aleinu l'shaper l'adon ha'kol, l'teit gdula yotzer bereshit, shelo samti b'yeharatzon, v'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'kol aleinu k'kol ha'amona. Anachnu karim, u'mishtacharim u'morim, Livnei Betlehem, Malkei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, the Melech al kol ha'oret, V'yom ha'hu, Yeh Adonai Echad, U'Shema.
We turn to page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. And on this Shabbat, we particularly remember those for whom we are in the month of mourning. Velma Vega, friend of Jan Feynman, and Jill Needleman, friend of Robin Isaacs. And those whose yurtsites fall at this season: Gerald Beck, Bernard Berman, Marvin Bourgeois, Pauline Cohen, Ruth Corin, Stanley Darrison, Thomas DiGiovanna, Stanley Feldstein, Solomon Finkelstein, Shirley Glassman, Joseph Grafeo, David Hardell, Harold Hyman, Alfred Jacobson, Lauren Kaufman, Edward Keim, Fanny Kessler, Edmund Mayer, Sylvia Moniz, Moses Newfield, Judy Novak, Sally Ricks, Minnie Schiffman, Ethel Schwartz, Irving Schotten, Florence Siegel, William Stetcher, Beverly Strachan, Regina Stileman, Sydney Tintweiss, Fran Wasserspring, Benjamin Wiener, and Rose Wolf. Is there anyone else you're saying Kaddish for on this Shabbat?
Karen Bizak Cohen.
We join together in love and memory. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, v'yama divra kirutei v'yamlit malkutei, v'chayekon yomekon v'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, v'galav v'zman karim v'yuru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba v'morak le'olam omei umaya. Yifarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Spirit Kadar, V'Shalel, V'Shalal, Shmei, V'Shal, Ela Mikol, V'Yirchata, V'Shirata, Shushbachata, V'Nechemata, Damira, V'Imam, V'Yibru, Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba V'Shemaya, V'Chaim Aleinu V'Yalkol Yisrael, V'Yibru, Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Romam, V'Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'Yalkol Yisrael, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved.
Amen.
We have the holiness of the Kaddish, and we have the holiness of the Kiddush, a prayer over the wine. And we now invite Aiden back with his dad, Brian. So you could just grab the Kiddush from the up. Up. Page 122, 123.
The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on that seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav b'ratzavanu b'shabbat kosho be'achava uvratzon kinkulanu zikaron l'ma'aseh v'reishit Kihu Yom Tehillah B'Mikra'ei Kodesh Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu B'Arat Ve'otanu Kidashta Mikol Ha'amim V'Shabbat Roshah Ve'ahava U'Bratzon Kinfaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekayim Hashem.
Amen. Drink up our wonderful grape juice. Yeah. Please be seated. And Brian, you'll take the cup and head back down, and maybe you will stay here as we call upon Dr. Brian Goldstein, president of our congregation, to share with you.
Hayden, that was awesome kiddish. And I heard you do a rockin' and say. Everybody should tune into that one. So this is a big deal, right? It's a big deal. Your sister went through it. Mazel tov. Take it all in. This is a big weekend. And as Rabbi said, thank you for doing what you're doing, becoming the next B'nai Mitzvah child in our sanctuary. The Kiddush, I want to represent the board of trustees and give you your gifts. The Kiddush cup that you just drank that lovely grape juice from. Hopefully you could use that again at Simchas in the future. But use it proudly. And then we have a few items here for me to give you. One is this beautiful certificate of Bar Mitzvah. You can display that proudly in your house, but don't think of this as the end of your time here. It's just a stepping stone. We'd like to have you back for some of our teen events. We have a certificate for a year membership to the JCC in Suffolk. Hopefully you can take advantage of that as well. And lastly, we have a gift certificate towards a trip, a North American Federation of Teen Youth trip to Israel. So if you can take advantage of that, you have to get well vaccinated. I think you have to be have your last vaccine within a certain period of time or get boosted or something, but you worry about that later. So mazel tov to you, you have that stuff, and you're gonna kill it tomorrow.
Thank you, folks. Let's turn to page 371. As we turn to our prayers of healing, to our friends on Zoom, if you want to add anyone you're praying for today in the chat. And we offer prayers for Stephen Margato, for Sandy Kramer, friend of Vanessa Newman, for Amy Swirsky, for Johnny Cavallero, friends of the Craigmans, for Mickey Plass, for Phyllis Belford, For all those on our Mishaberach list, and who else are you holding in your hearts tonight? Miriam?
Betty Catania, Ben
Joel?
Maybe Engelhardt.
On this side, anybody?
Vicky Sheffer.
Can you read any of that? Let's go in the chat.
And my brother-in-law, Alan Miller.
Wish him a flush,
Michael.
Thanks.
Jane Alston.
Thank you. And all those you've named, all those that are in the chat, all those on our Mishaberach list, like 130 names on our Mishaberach list. And all those who you're holding in your heart at this moment, let's send to them and out into the world this prayer of healing.
Mishaberach Avotei, Mekor Abraham, Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu, Mekor Abraham, Avotenu. Bless those in need of with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
Amen, amen, a refuah shlema, a complete and speedy healing. So we also like to celebrate, and I have an October and my November list. Is your birthday actually in October? Who said Sandy? No, whose mom's was Sandy. I don't know. We haven't blessed you in the sanctuary. Happy birthday! You have to stand up. She's just sitting there thinking she can just say thank you. I don't know. Anybody else have a birthday, anniversary, early November, late October? I'm looking at my list. Emma, happy almost birthday, right? Almost, right? Stand up. Yeah. Show us how much taller you are than your grandma.
Thank you.
Rachel, happy birthday. Susan and Steve, Susan and Sandy. I'm Susan and Sandy, happy anniversary. When's your anniversary? Wow, awesome. And yeah, soon, right? On the 4th. At least it's not on election day this year. I always feel bad for you. Any other birthdays?
The end of November.
You gotta come back for that one then. End of November. We're not taking that. So we need a wonderful Shehechianas, the only kind I got. That's so true. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu l'tzana hazeh. Amen. Mazel tov. Ad Mea ve'Esri. Mazel tov. Did you get a nice kiss in there? Do your mask? A mask kiss. And we wish you and everyone who's running for office courage and Godspeed for this Tuesday. Lots of fingers crossed. Not on our wonderful list, and it's in process, but you can stand up because you're next. With Carla Goodian, she's an artist friend of mine. I have some of her art in my office. We've given it as gifts. She's been doing a thing called Art Party Central that started in the middle of COVID. It's kind of an online art fair where you get a look in the artist studios and some of their work they show online, or they show you how they make something. So on November 10th, we've been invited to be one of 5 synagogues participating in a synagogue fundraiser, where anything you buy at the 3 o'clock show, or 3:30 show, or the 7:30 show, well, a portion of it will go back to Temple Beth Torah. If you're looking for some nice Hanukkah gifts, I encourage you to add that to your list of places that you go. We'll send out an email about that. That's November 10th. And then through the village, I just spoke to her this afternoon, that's why it's not on all our paperwork. We are planning a day at her studio, and I'll get you the date on that. It'll be either the 11th or the 17th of November, to go do some artwork at her studio and see her process and see things, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So the village is for our congregants 60 to 80 years old who are looking to make new friends, find purpose and meaning, and have some fun. So if especially this, and there's subgroups, so this is the arts group that's going to be doing this. There's an eating group, we're going to an Indian restaurant on the 15th, and Indian food shopping with a friend of Judy's from India. And there's a genealogy group and book group and lots of interest groups that are really rising. It's a grassroots organization. We're not top down, and it's been wonderful. So let me know if you want more information. Brian, I think we have a couple more things going on, and I would stay here so they can see you on the cameras.
Right, we are live. Shabbat Shalom all.
Shabbat Shalom, Brian.
Get comfortable, there's a big list. Good thing the rabbi just knocked off a few of them.
I added.
At least one thing was on here.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary to everybody. And happy birthdays around. And of course, Mazel Tov to Aiden and Brian and Jody and Emma, getting higher heels back there somewhere. And to the whole Fizak and Cohen Mishpacha. You'll have to ask your parents how we're sort of related. They'll tell you the story. It's sort of convoluted. Rabbi, thank you for that sermon and your words that for a very disturbing yet critically important topic. And Cantor, thank you for always bringing some new music to our Shabbat services, and obviously Yasher Koach to Susan and Sandy Berlin, and please get out there and vote. It's critically important. So we have tomorrow morning Torah study at 9 a.m. Sunday, Halloween, we have the Dixel's Jewish Center Social Action Zoom, a presentation of Judaism, food, climate, and you. Check our weekly or our website for the info on that. Monday, November 1st at 7:30, our Rabbi Moskowitz will be teaching the positive Judaism that she told you about at the Chai Adult Zoom. There are a number of adult ed Zoom lectures in that Chai program that you can look at from our website or from our weeklies. I think, Rabbi, you're teaching a couple more still.
I have 4 sessions. There are 4 more. It started 2 weeks ago, but my class just started this week.
So this is an effort from 10 synagogues in Suffolk County who are supporting this educational opportunity. 10 a.m. is Jewish Tangent, and all day is voting. So get out there. I think early voting is until Sunday. Yes. No voting on Wednesday, November 3rd. This sounds interesting. At 7 p.m., Gen Z versus baby boomers. Today's job market with Elizabeth Burnich in conversation with Adam Sandler. It's from Congregation Lador Vador. I think you can get the info in the weekly email on that as well. And 7:30 adult B'nai Mitzvah class. I think there's still time to sign up. It's been going for a couple of weeks.
We've only learned 3 letters from the Hebrew alphabet, so we could still do it.
Aleph, Bet, Vet.
No.
Gimel.
Shin Bet Ta.
Shin Bet Ta. Okay. Thursday, November 4th, Team Programming Day of Services. Contact Rabbi Wiesenberg for info on that. Friday, November 5th, 10:15, Torah Yoga. 5:30 Top Shabbat, and followed by our 6:30 services here. Monday, November 8th, that's where Rabbi was talking about at 10 a.m. her interview with Darrell Horn, the book People Love Dead Jews. And in the evening, another Chai Adult Day. Tuesday, November 9th at 8 p.m., a fundraising meeting. And Wednesday, November 10th at 6 p.m., ritual committee meeting. And then, Rhoda, do you want to give us a little bit on
Sure.
Thursday, November 11th? I'll come over to you.
No, it's fine. I'll talk loud. How's that? I'm very happy as a Temple member for so many years and an associate of Saks Fifth Avenue that they're able this time to make a contribution for all of you who come to shop on the 11th all day from 11 to 7. It happens to be gift card day too. So if you spend XYZ amount of money, you'll also get something. So it's a win-win. The Temple will get something, and the Temple is getting it in honor of the David Joshua Burr Nursery School. So they'll be getting the contribution from Saks Fifth Avenue after you make some purchases. And I hope to see you. I'm on the second floor. I'd like to welcome you, and I'm going to stay all day to see you all. Thank you.
Is it just shopping in the children's department?
No,
The whole store?
the store manager agrees that those cards, you must mention Temple Beth Torah. Whoever takes care of you as a sales associate, I'm here because of Temple Beth Torah. So they'll just click on that little card and we'll get the results from that. It's in every department. It starts in the kids because of the nursery school. And, you know, I kind of run that besides all the whatever else I do. And so I hope to see you. I would love to welcome you. I've been there 14 years. I've been here 40 years. And I'm going to be 80. Goodbye.
Thank you, Rhoda. So the only problem is I have to resist the urge of shopping at Saks between now and then. I store it all up just for the 11th.
That's right.
That's it.
And Friday, November, thank you, Rhoda. Thank you for setting that up, and whatever portion comes to nursery school. Thank you, everybody that will shop there.
Thank you.
Friday, November 12th, a Shabbat dinner. Look at the details on the particulars about who comes to that, and it's an in-person dinner after service. A little snack before and then service.
Shorter service.
And then Thursday, November 18th, Shop and Schmooze. You can register now, and that also supports the nursery. It's put on by the nursery school and sisterhood. This is a big one. TBT presents Beauty and the Beast. It's really happening. February 11th and 12th. There are 3 shows. Tickets are on sale now. Buy your tickets. It's an awesome cast. You'll recognize a lot of people.
It's worth it just to see Dr. Goldstein play LeFou.
A ton of talent
Brilliant.
except for LeFou. Again, and also the Village is still going on. That's our work that we're doing with Six Hills Jewish Center, supported by the UJA. And the sharing table, again, we need volunteers and we need donations, specifically breakfast cereal, white rice, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, which apparently I heard is going up significantly in price. Diapers, toiletries, deodorant, feminine hygiene products. You can leave your donations in the vestibule or in the blue bin. I think it should be in the vestibule.
And we're really light right now. We really need stuff. If you could run to the dollar store this weekend and drop stuff off, or anywhere, that would be great help.
It's the philosophy of leave what you can, take what you want, what you need. And it's been a great service for our community that's in need. So again, Shabbat Shalom all, Yasher Koach, and good luck, and Mazel Tov, and enjoy the weekend.
Shabbat Shalom, Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Olam this world from love. You must build this world from love. You must build this world from love. If we build this world from love. If we build this world from love. Then God will build this world from love. Oh, love has said Oh, love has said And I am Elohim, Motenu, Motenu, our God and God of our mothers and fathers. Give us koach, give us strength to do your will in the world, to find love and beauty and justice wherever we go. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat shalom, shalom.
Shabbat shalom.